What's happening, y'all? Mignon, Rockabilly Daisy. Hope everybody's doing all right. Hold on a second. Let me see something here. All right. Cool. All right. Looks like it's just you two. Oh, and Breakfast Club's in the house. Darwin. Okay. Yvonne. Lufa. Okay, guys. I didn't want to neglect my late night people, and I haven't been on late night in a while. But I'm not really going to do anything like, too deep. I don't think. You never know, but that's not the plan tonight anyway. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to go over these motions that Letitia, our beloved Letitia Stauch, has filed a few days ago. I'm not going to get too deep into that. What's up, Jason? We're so yeah. It's still officially the 22nd of April. I'm in Tennessee. It's looking good. It's looking like they're going to probably open stuff back up, including my job, come the end of the month. What's up, Doodlebug? And I'm really excited about that. I'm looking forward to that. Yes, I am. I'm not one of those people that feels that we should keep everything closed. I am going to do a live on that, but not right now. I'm going to see how things play out a little bit more before I get into all that. But I'm and 420 was a couple days ago. Did anybody make the best of a quarantine and celebrate 420? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It was 420 a couple days ago, and I'm proud to say that I did not smoke any weed with other people because I practice social distancing, guys, and it's really, really important. So I was just trying to do my part. I was just trying to do my part. So I flew solo. But moving on. What's up, Audra O? Angelina ATF. All right, Debbie Loving Vapes. So we've definitely got we've got some familiar people up in here. I like it. I'm sorry I haven't been on in a while, guys. I've been kind of bummed out too. I'm not gonna lie, man. It's tough. It's tough, and I'll be honest. I've been drinking a lot of wine lately too. Trying to just not be bored. To be perfectly honest, that's really it. But my neck, I guess I slept on it wrong the other day or something like that, and it's been like super stiff. Could barely move my head. I really hate when that happens. So I wasn't able to go into my job and help him clean the last couple days, which I feel bad about. But I mean, we did a lot. We did a lot over the last few weeks. So it was fun. But I'm gonna go back. Hopefully I'll feel better tomorrow and I'll go in tomorrow. But if not, maybe Friday. But I still feel pretty. It's kind of it's kind of what was it that Mr. Peterman said on that Seinfeld episode? My neck is one gargantuan monkey fist. It's totally how I feel right now. But guys, we are going to we're going to go a little bit over these motions. I'm not going to talk too much about that stuff because there's not that much to talk about. There's just not that much to talk about. This lady, and you know, and I at this point, I gotta be honest with you. I don't give a shit anymore. You know, I'm pretty certain that this woman now again, uh, she's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. But everything this woman does makes it near impossible to find her, to give her any benefit of the doubt. There's just it's one thing after the other with this lady, dude. And she just, like, even behind bars, this woman is being petty. Like, she's caught, right? She's caught. And I get that she's gonna have to. I get she's probably, and that's the thing, is the one argument most people have, because I think, see, logic would dictate to me that she's going to plead out, because if we have all this evidence, if there's all this evidence against her, then she's going to plead out, right? But the thing is more and more of her personality. I keep hearing these people when I have discussions in Kay's group about this. A lot of people will counter and say, no, I think that she's going to want to go to trial because she's just too. She just has. She needs that attention. She's that tenacious. She's that fucking crazy. But she's not crazy in a crime of passion kind of way. I think this woman's a psychopath. You know, I mean, I'm not a mental health professional or anything like that, but I think that she's just a psychopath. This woman cannot be allowed to walk the streets. And yeah, she's definitely going to lose the trial, Jason. She's absolutely going to lose the trial if she goes to trial. That's my point. That's why I think that she's going to plead out. I mean, it's her choice in the end of the day, but I would think that even her lawyer, especially if she has a public defender, which I'm not sure, I don't know if she does or not. I think she does. So if she has a public defender, I mean, her public defender's job almost is to talk the client into pleading out. My theory on that is, you know, a public defender gets the same signature on their paychecks as the prosecution. So when it comes to things of that nature, you know, when it comes to things like that, I can't help but think that the prosecution is going to just want to cut a deal. And I mean the defense, if it's a public defender, I just don't see them. I don't see a public defender really being much of a trial lawyer, to be perfectly honest. But you know, that's kind of a generalization, and I don't really know that much about the law. And I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. But the whole thing is, to me, that any attorney, I don't even care if it's any defense attorney, unless they're really, really high paid, you know, unless they're really, really, really expensive, good trial defense lawyers, and they think that they can get her off on some sort of technicality, maybe, possibly, sure. But there seems to be so much evidence. And let's also discuss that affidavit, guys, because this is something that I don't think I've ever gone over. When we discuss the affidavit, there's one thing that's really, really important to keep in mind is, I think, I don't know, again, I don't know how the law works. I really don't know how the law works exactly. But what I think is going on is the reason why that affidavit was released to the public, and was, because I don't think it was leaked. It was just the judge let people have it. So what I think is going on with that is there's a new affidavit. Once Gannon was actually found, once Gannon's body was found, there was probably an entirely new affidavit. Because think about this. Remember, that affidavit that we have gone over, it is full of speculation. There's just tons of speculation as to where Gannon might be. So they hadn't found Gannon's body yet when that affidavit was written. So we've got to keep that in mind, folks, that there's probably a whole nother one now that is much different, that is aimed to prosecute and put away Letitia Stauch. And of course, common sense dictates this. So when I look at that affidavit now, it's just kind of like, it's jack shit, Now, there's a lot of it in there. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff in there now that I think makes much more sense, is probably not so much speculation now that they have a body. So, and there's a lot of questions about the Switch and who has the Nintendo Switch, and why was it in the photograph that Letitia took? Why did Letitia take a photograph of Gannon laying in bed? So there's all these questions. Now, if I could get one of my wrenches here to drop the link for Kay's Gannon Stauch group, please go ahead and do that, because there's a lot of discussion in there about that stuff. It's not really the kind of stuff that I really plan on going over here. But there's some really, really interesting stuff. And I think Kay is actually going on tomorrow, and she's going to discuss some interesting stuff. And I'm actually really excited about that. So make sure that you watch that one. I'm not sure what time tomorrow, but she told me today that she was going live tomorrow. So, but guys, this case, this woman, she is absolutely relentless. Now, everything about her behavior. What's up, Mark? Yeah, I don't know. Where is Eduardo? Yo, somebody. I need to find that. I should show that just to be silly here. I should show that just to be silly. But somebody posted in the other group some video about Eduardo, and it was borderline the most racist shit I've ever seen in my life. But nonetheless, it was pretty funny. But it was like, ooh, dude, pump the brakes on that. So yeah, Eduardo is a big mystery, and I am venturing to guess that Eduardo is imaginary. Eduardo does not exist. Eduardo es finito, never was. So I am gonna say that this woman's motions that she filed earlier this week, they're pretty outrageous. Let me see if I can pull some of these up. All right. And we're going to talk about some other fun stuff tonight, guys. We're just going to kind of have a good time tonight, guys. We're not going to get into anything too crazy. Okay. All right. Application windows. Is that the right one? I don't even know if I got the right one pulled up. Let me see here. All right. So, can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Cool. All right. So, this thing, I'll go ahead and read it. The matter comes before the court pursuant to Miss Stauch's motion for, and I think that's funny. I think because she has Al's last name because she's married to Al, but they say Miss Stauch. Now, is that because he's filed for a divorce? And it's not Mrs. Stauch? I know it's a kind of a silly thing. It's just something that popped in my head here. So it's saying Ms. Stauch's motion for hearing on sanctions for violation of court order. According to paragraph 2 of the motion, Ms. Stauch requests an investigation into a statement made by an individual regarding an alleged crime committed by Ms. Stauch in Kansas. This court has no jurisdiction over that crime. So this is interesting, guys. This is interesting because the crime is that of Letitia Stauch allegedly attacking a deputy trying to escape while in Kansas, while during extradition back to Colorado from South Carolina, I believe. And so and I'm not laughing because I think it's funny that she attacked a deputy. I think that's absolutely insane. I think it's fucked up, and I think she should get more time for that. And I hope that she does. And this, to me, it blows my mind. So she's basically filing a motion. She filed a motion to the judge to do something about somebody basically talking shit about her. So she's basically, so she would use social media. We've already gone over how bizarre this behavior is of hers, that she would go on social media, which a lot of people do. A lot of people go on social media and they just have to blast themselves on social media to get attention and to get people to try to understand their side and where they're coming from. And that's not uncommon. I personally am not exactly one of those people, but she's definitely one of these types of people. And as we went over the affidavit, her Google searches indicate to us that that she even is using Google to try and vent. She's venting to Google to about her situation, which is really, really bizarre. So now that she no longer has the internet to do that, what she's doing now is she's actually trying to use the court to bitch and moan. That's insane to me. That's insane to me, dude. So yeah, Jewels of Thought, you've got a good point there. That's the argument that I'm hearing a lot too. I'm hearing that argument that that she has that victim persona and she's always going to try to pull that. So, she's going to see it in her mind that it's a noble thing to do, to stand up for herself and defend herself against these outrageous accusations. But these are not outrageous accusations at all. And she's living in her own fantasy world. But the thing is she's fully aware of what she's done. She's fully aware of what she was fully aware of what she was doing when she did it at the time, because, and it still stands it still stands to speculate whether or not it was premeditated or not. I don't think it was a crime of passion. My personal theory is that I don't think that it was a crime of passion. I think that there was a crime of passion that took place where there was abuse that took place. But I think that the abuse went too far. That's just a theory. But with the little bit that we know, I see a situation where it went a little too far. She left marks on him that she couldn't, or something to that effect, somewhere along those lines, where she couldn't cover it up, and then she was definitely trying to hide something. A lot of people think that Gannon walked in on her having sex with somebody, or overheard her, or knew something regarding her infidelity, possible infidelity, I should say. So, who knows? But basically, I personally think that um, that she that it was premeditated. And when I say premeditated, I don't mean planned, folks. That's not what I mean. I want to be very, very clear about that. I do not mean planned, but I do mean that she thought about doing it and then basically just had enough confidence in herself that she was going to be able to cover it up somehow. But now, in regards to the crime scene itself definitely indicates a crime of passion. But um, I do think that she had hatred towards Gannon. Most definitely, I feel that she had hatred towards Gannon. Um, but uh, but I think that her hatred drove her to make this decision to kill Gannon. Um, and then she actually, when she was actually doing it, she got really carried away. I mean, her charges include, uh, uh, you know, the use of a firearm, um, a blunt object, as well as a sharp object or a knife. So what I think is and maybe if she was trying to make it look like he was kidnapped by someone, um, you know, but I only hope, and I don't think that's happened, because she did mention things. She did mention things uh, regarding. I don't even want to say it, but and I'm not going to. Those would have been in the charges, I think. So I don't think that happened. Those would have been included in the charges. But I do think that everything. I think that there was definitely. I think that all those things happened. I think that she shot him. I think she stabbed him, and I think that she beat him. And I think that she did this possibly, um, because it's just something about her personality that tells me, that indicates to me that she's uh, trying to make it look as brutal as possible. She actually did this to try to make it look as brutal as possible, in order to um, make it seem like it wasn't her. Uh, that's how twisted I think she is. But again, that's just a theory. That's just a theory. We don't know all the facts yet. We don't have all the facts yet. But so let's get back to this real quick here. All right. Is this okay? All right. The rest of it. Can you all see this? I don't know if I'm. No, I don't think. It doesn't matter. I'm just going to read it. So blah blah blah. This is important as the court issued order unsealing the affidavit at 11:20 a.m. on April 3rd, 2020. Any changes regarding the replacement of unsealing of the affidavit of probable cause after the point in time would have occurred as a result of this court's order. Defendant did not file any supporting affidavit setting forth any specific facts regarding conduct attributable to the district attorney's office or any other parties that are the subject of the 01 order. Defense counsel is free to continue its investigation, but based on this meager record, the court declines to take further action at this time. As such, defendant Stauch's motion for hearing on sanctions for violation of court is denied. Now, that's another thing, too, because if I'm reading this correctly, and I probably am not, I'm going to be honest with you guys. It's basically saying that she did not present this properly to the judge. I think that the law dictates for you to deliver something like that's the thing is let's say I want to represent myself in court, right? Let's say I want to represent myself in court. That can be done. I have the legal right to do so. But the problem is I'm not trained in the law. So I could have all the evidence in the world, right? Let's say I have all the evidence in the world. Let's say that I'm on trial for murder, right? And I have proof, definitive proof that I'm innocent, right? And my lawyer is a total fucking moron. So I fire my lawyer and I decide to represent myself in court, right? So the problem, though, is there's a procedure that takes place when presenting evidence. There's a legal procedure that must take place when presenting evidence to a judge. And I don't have the training to do that. So it's very, very likely that I won't even get to present that evidence, or that evidence will be thrown out for whatever reason, because I don't know the loopholes of the law. And the prosecution most definitely does, more than me anyway. So I'm wondering if something like this happened. I wonder if she has a lawyer and she's probably completely difficult to her own lawyer. And again, I'm totally speculating here. I'm just playing. I'm playing little how I see Letitia in my mind right now in my head. I'm just kind of having fun with picturing her behavior right now. So what I'm wondering, and Rhonda, that's an interesting point. What I'm wondering is, did she tell her lawyer, because these claims are ridiculous. What she's trying to do is she's basically complaining about people trash talking her. She's trying to use a criminal court as a civil court to try to shut people up and stop talking bad about her, because she can't stand to be talked bad about. And it's insane to me. There's other stuff too. What is the other? Hold on. I'm trying to see what the rest of this thing says. Hold on. Okay, and then this other thing is, she wants to shut down a news story referenced in the motion. Starts out by stating that the details were first reported in a newspaper overseas. The motion does not identify what newspaper that would have been in the substance of that story. There is also no indication in the motion regarding when law enforcement in Florida learned that the body was found that was that of Gannon Stauch, or when Florida law enforcement authorities would have become aware of this court 01 order, court 01 order. I don't know what the court simply declines to take further action at this time based on the sorry, I can barely read this. If counsel has further facts to share in the form of an affidavit regarding such, the court may reconsider the matter once such facts are produced. So she's basically complaining to the judge that people are. So what she's doing right now, if I had to guess, if I had to guess, what she's doing right now is she is gearing up to try to say that she never had a fair shake, that she's never going to get a fair trial. I think that's what the angle she's trying to play. But I also wonder if even her lawyers, because she's sitting here saying, okay, well, somebody said something about this about me, and then over here somebody went and said something about the body being Gannon, and before anybody knew it was Gannon, and the court is basically just keeping it technical. The court isn't even going to go, oh, well, that's not true, or that is true. The court's going to go, well, you didn't even file a proper affidavit to present this to the court. So since you didn't file the affidavit regarding the matter, then we're not even going to look at it. I'm not even going to look at it. The judge is like, no. So, so it's just interesting to me that her lawyers would even do that, which makes me wonder if she was so relentless towards her lawyers, and her lawyer is like, no, I'm not doing that because it's pointless. And then she went and somehow filed the motion herself without her attorney. And then it got denied because it wasn't presented to the judge properly. I'm wondering if that's the case. I don't know. But yeah, it's Thursday's Child. That's exactly what she's doing. She's making it about her. But it's extremely interesting to me. It's extremely interesting to me that this is what her concern is. And I don't know about you guys, but I am dying to know the details of what happened in Kansas when she attacked that deputy. I want to know what the extent of this deputy's injuries were. I want to know. I want to know what she did. Supposedly she got free of her handcuffs, but it's crazy because the deputy refused to make a statement. And so we don't know anything. We don't know anything of what happened because the police over there are not talking to the press about it. And yeah, Mark Klein, the lie detector thing is the lie detector thing is very funny to me. The lie detector thing is funny to me, but yeah. So we're seeing what it looks like to me. Again, I'm not a legal expert by any means at all. I'm not even close, but I'm finding it very amusing that she's scratching and clawing in this way. She seems to really be grasping at straws here. But it also seems like she's not on the same page with anybody. She doesn't seem to understand what's going on and what's happening to her. And the reason why I don't think that she knows what's going on and what's happening to her, or understands it, fully understands it. The reason why I don't think that is because her actions are indicating this. you would think that somebody, um, who is uh, about to uh, stand trial for their life, or even not just stand trial. I mean, even if she pleads out, whatever. But I don't think that she realized that her life is basically over. Um, and she does have a chance to get out of it. I mean, due process is a hell of a thing. She does have the opportunity to take it to trial and try to prove her innocence, but she's not doing that effectively by filing motions like this. Not in my opinion. I don't think that there's anything effective about this at all, except making her look that much crazier and making her look that much more uh, clueless to the judge, and not even making her look insane or making her look stupid. It's making her look like someone who is not willing to take any accountability for something that they've done. And it's her behavior that's doing this. It's not even the judge hasn't even seen the evidence yet. Judge can't. The judge, it has to be presented to the judge by the attorneys. So the judge is right now simply looking at this and going, does this person realize like that they're being charged with murder? And the murder of an 11-year-old boy? So yeah, Kimmy Monster. Yeah, it could be that she's just pulling it off, just putting it off. She's just, but a lot of times what you do is you file for continuances too. I remember. I'm not going to get too deep into this, but I remember when I was in court for custody of my son. My ex. She was representing herself. She thought of herself as an attorney. It was pretty interesting. She did the same thing. She just made herself look really bad to the court herself, just by the way she was behaving, by the way she was going about proving her case. And what she was doing, she wasn't proving her case. She just kept on trying to avoid it. She kept filing for continuances. And sometimes she'd get them, right? And a lot of the times, and the way my attorney told me was that it was because the judge will usually grant one continuance, because he wants to be fair. The judge wants to be fair, and the judge wants to give everyone an opportunity to be prepared. And I'm sure he took in consideration that she's a mother and I had an attorney and she didn't. And so he was probably trying to just be fair and let her play ball as best as he could. But she ended up, I'll say this much. It was really funny. At one point, she took all the evidence that, as a matter of fact, proved my case, and she faxed it to the judge, directly to the judge, or the judge's office. And he showed up to the courtroom with a manila envelope, like it was like this thick. And he's like, so this was faxed to me, and I want it to go on record that I have not opened this or looked at it, because this is a no-no. So you can't send me evidence of a case. It has to be presented to me properly. And this was the kind of behavior, and constantly calling the courthouse and behaving a certain way, just would put that characteristic of a person in everyone's mind, and makes it easier for them to get an idea of what type of person they are. um, and which is why I won custody. So uh, it was really funny. At one point, I even told my attorney, I was like, can I fire you and hire her? Because she's doing this, she's doing this for us, you know. Um, so, uh, but yeah, that's as much as that as I'm gonna get into. But I, I gotta be honest, guys. I'm not seeing uh a person here who really stands a chance. And I think it sucks because here's the thing: there's a lot of people following this case that look at this for the sake of drama. You know, they want to see a trial. They want to be entertained by a trial. They want to see another Casey Anthony, another OJ. They want to see all this happen. They want to see Menendez brothers happen all over again. People love that shit. Um, and I'll be honest, when it's on, when it's happening, I'm sucked into it because I'm interested in the case and I'm interested in the outcome. And a lot of people are the same way. But there's also people who just want it to just because they want the entertainment. But for me, I really, truly, honestly hope that she pleads out because there's no way that she's going to win. I just don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see how she's going to. And you know, crazier things have happened. Crazier things have happened. But I'm just not seeing that happen with her based on what the evidence looks like they already have and how guilty she's constantly making herself look as it is. It's quite you know, I don't want to see this go to trial because I don't want to see taxpayers' money go to waste. I don't want to see time being wasted by our system that could be put towards getting someone justice. Because we're going to get justice. It's just delaying the inevitable, in my opinion. So I'm not interested in this going to trial. I'm really hoping that the same things happen with the Chris Watts case, where you know her attorney talks her into simply pleading out. But thank goodness that they found Gannon's body because that was the one bargaining chip that she would have had. I've talked about this before. Just think about that. The one bargaining chip that she would have had would have been the location of Gannon's body so that Landon and Al could get closure and bury their son properly. But yeah, she doesn't have that anymore. And that's awesome. She doesn't have that anymore. She doesn't have that leverage. There's now the evidence that they had that having Gannon's body would confirm as evidence against her. Now they have that. Now they have Gannon's body to put pieces together. They can determine a time of death. They can determine, and who knows, based on the affidavit has a pretty specific time frame. But again, that's speculation. They don't know. They can't confirm that. They can only confirm time of death by examining his body. So this is going to happen. This has already happened, I'm sure. I'm sure there's been an autopsy that took place. And with an autopsy taking place, with DNA, all that stuff, man, you know, yeah, I don't see it happening. Just don't see it happening. So I just you know, I don't want to see her waste everybody's time, man. You know, I'm really hoping for the sake of Landon and Al, you know, and I know there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out there that have strong negative opinions about Landon and Al as well. I don't know where I'm at on that yet. I need to know more, but you know, the fact of the matter is there was the, I don't know if I want to get into that. I really don't know if I want to get into that. But the bottom line, though, is regardless of Landon and Al's complacency, regardless of how irresponsible they may or may not have been, regardless of any of that, they have an 11-year-old boy murdered in a very, very brutal way, and it was by somebody who they trusted around him. And so I'm quite certain that they're dealing with that. I'm quite certain that they're probably struggling with that a lot, and struggling with carrying some of that responsibility. So again, I'm not sure how I feel just yet about how much I want to go into that aspect of it, and a lot of other people will, and that's cool. My only reason for that is for me, I don't know enough to form an opinion on that just yet. I can speculate, but I don't feel comfortable speculating about grieving parents. I feel comfortable speculating about somebody who I'm 99% sure is guilty of a crime that she's charged with. So I feel comfortable speculating about her now that I know, now that I've seen this affidavit, now that I understand more or less what has taken place, now that I am aware of evidence that the prosecution has against her. So enough to make my own judgment and openly speculate about this person here. I don't feel sorry for her. I do believe that she's guilty of this crime. And I think that they're going to prove it. But again, innocent until proven guilty, sure. But that doesn't change the fact that I believe her based on everything that we know now. I believe her to be guilty. And I still stand by every word that I've said since this case started, since Gannon went missing. And I've been talking about it on this channel. And I talked about it on other channels. I stand by everything I said about that. We did not know enough to throw out an accusation or create a narrative about someone who could very well be grieving for this child in their own way that we don't even know. So regardless of whether I got a hunch or whatever, if I got a hunch on something, fine, but see, I just don't feel comfortable talking about hunches that create a narrative about someone when I don't actually know enough to crucify them publicly. This was his stepmother. She has kids of her own. Is she an asshole? Yeah, I've said that from the beginning. Of course, I thought she was an asshole, but I wasn't about to accuse her of a crime. But, I think we know enough at this point. I think there's enough at this point to draw a conclusion and be able to discuss it openly. But yeah, I stand by every word I said. I don't think I think that there's a time when these things happen in the public eye that I think it's premature to do that. And there was a time in this case that I still believe very much so that it was premature to do that. But I think it's fine now, as you could see. And the thing is I think this woman's guilty. I personally think this woman's guilty. I think we all believe that this woman's guilty at this point. And you know, you don't attack a deputy. You don't slip out of cuffs and attack a deputy when you're innocent. You don't do that. So that's just me. So, and the fact that there's certain things about Gannon that I can relate to. The 11-year-old in me can relate to Gannon on certain things. Because I feel this way, because Gannon turning out to be no longer missing but murdered had a very, very emotional impact on me. And therefore, I feel totally and completely justified in dragging this fucking woman all over my fucking channel as much as I fucking feel like doing it. And I'm going to do that. And I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm not going to feel bad about it, because I don't think that I no longer think that it's premature to do so. And I'm sure, you know, I'll get criticism for that, but I really don't give a shit. But we're gonna talk about a little bit of we're gonna switch things up a little bit, guys. I told you we're gonna try to have a little fun tonight, guys. So this is gonna be, now we're moving on from the Gannon thing. And I came across this interview because I actually I watch YouTube a lot, and I watch YouTube a lot, and it's pretty funny to me. I'm gonna play this video, and then we're gonna go over it, and we're gonna have a little fun, guys. A lot of you guys are gonna get a little pissed off about it, but that's okay. It's okay. All right, guys.
About why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, it's pretty good thing. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need.
Does anybody recognize this guy? Now, this is something that I find pretty fascinating, guys. This gentleman, his name is Kenneth Copeland, and he is a televangelist. And this interviewer is basically asking him why he has to fly in a private Gulfstream jet, why he rides around in limos, why does he wear $5,000 suits, $10,000 Rolexes. So this is what this lady's getting to the bottom of, which I'm a big fan of this.
If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really me.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business. But
isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid.
This guy's blowing my mind too, because here's the burden that I imagine comes with being one of these guys, one of these televangelists, these men of God, to keep all that money coming in. You know, you got to be pleasant. You got to be smiling. You got to be a ray of sunshine and hope for everybody. So here comes this lady from Inside Edition out of nowhere, just rolls up on my man right here and just starts bombing him with questions. And he's trying to process it but you can tell, I find this really funny because you can tell that this dude is super, super mad, and he gets really, really annoyed with her, and he restrains himself, and he's completely caught off guard.
You kind of caught me off guard here. Okay.
Well, if you like to come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listen to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question.
And here comes the prayer. The prayer. Thank you, Lord. Let me not reach over and choke this woman for doing what she's doing to me right now. Thank you, Lord.
A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher to live a life of luxury and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought over 100, let's see, the latest figures just came out, 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ. Let me give you another example. Last May, I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off, and I was scheduled for Peru. And I prayed about it, and I thought, I'm not missing that dedication in Jerusalem. Without the airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere near. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
Okay, all right, but I want to get to demons because people are very concerned about that comment.
Give me a chance here, Inside Edition. I love your eyes. And here's what happened. We flew in 21 days, 70 hours, 40,000 miles, touched 5 continents, and preached face to face personally with 125,000 people.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Whoa. Okay. I'm going to leave it. Look at my man's eyes, dude. Look at my man's eyes. This dude is extremely angry. I mean, this dude switched just now. He switched just now from being bubbly and nice to sticking his finger in this woman's face, a perfect fucking stranger, and a woman, a lady, sticking his finger in her face, and his eyes totally full of rage. That's a very, very scary image right there. I want to see that again. Let's see that transition real quick. You see the smile? See the smile? Here we go.
Your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example.
Yes, I do.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment, you said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Does this guy not know that there's a camera on him right now? A camera belonging to a tabloid television show?
Wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Can you explain what you meant by that term then? Just explain, because it's really simple. You said you didn't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. What did you mean?
Well, let me ask you.
Do you think that people that fly commercial are demons?
Give me a chance to talk, sweetheart. I'll explain this to you. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with
Naturally, it's a biblical thing.
people. I love people. Jesus loves people. But people get pushed in alcohol. Do you think that's a good place for a preacher to be and prepare to go preach to a lot of people? When somebody in there is dragging some woman down an aisle, it made me so mad to see that on television. I wanted to punch the guy out myself. I can't be doing that while I'm getting ready to preach.
So you just don't like to be around.
So this man, this man's basically saying, you know, he can't stand being around people, but it's not the people that he has the problem with. He has the problem with their principles. Is basically what he's saying, which is basically what makes us people. I mean, does anybody disagree with that? You know, basically what makes us who we are is our principles, right? So here's this guy, and he's basically saying that he's not getting on a plane with a bunch of demons because he feels like he's above everybody else, you know? I mean, he's buying planes off Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry's selling them planes. Okay, man. All right.
Around the sinful people or the hurtful people. Is that what you're saying?
Not the people, baby. Not the people. Back during the days that we couldn't do anything else, we had to travel commercial. When I went to Oral Roberts University, I flew for Oral Roberts. I'm a commercial pilot. So I spent a lot of time in airplanes.
You have how many planes? We
have the Gulfstream, and we still have our Citation 10. And then we have a little small airplane. But both those are the two ones that we use, and we use them all the time. And other people use them too. We have other ministries that use these. In the book of Ephesians, oh God, I lost this. We wrestle not with people, but with principalities and powers, unseen things, rulers of the darkness of this world. Talking about the devil, he's a very real devil. Just the same.
See, this is the kind of shit that really, really pisses me off, dude. Because this is a guy. Now, if you're a fan of this guy, I don't know what to tell you. But the thing is I respect people's beliefs. I respect people's faith. I really do. And what's funny is people who like this guy feel like he should be living a lavish lifestyle, because the way that they see him as someone above them. And that's something that that his type has created. That type of thinking, that type of mindset is something that they've created. It's become the norm. You know, people who don't know any better see this guy as a messenger of God. And why should royalty, divine royalty such as him, not live a completely and totally luxurious and lavish lifestyle? That's pretty amazing if you think about it. And it's because he does it, and because he can take Bible scriptures and twist them to justify his actions the way that he just did. Let's listen to that one more time. Let's listen to that scripture one more time.
Jesus is very rich. in the book of Ephesians. Oh, God, I love this. We wrestle not with people, but with principalities and powers, unseen things, rulers of the darkness of this world. Talking about the devil. He's a very real devil, just the same as.
See, now that's infuriating to me, because this passage in the Bible, if he's quoting it correctly, I don't know if he is or not, but if he's quoting it correctly, what I'm getting out of that is it's a love your neighbor message, right? You know, have empathy for the people. You don't know what they're going through. They're wrestling with demons. They're wrestling with issues. They're wrestling with you know, in back in biblical days, of course, you're going to call that a devil, you know, but these are things. This is what we refer to these days when we in psychological, when we talk in terms of psychology, we use the metaphor of demons that we're dealing with. And I think that's what that passage is supposed to say, that you know, this person that you're having so many issues with, you know, try to understand what they're going through. That's what I'm getting out of that. Not, you know, not, oh, well, these people are all possessed by the devil, so I don't want to be around them. I shouldn't have to be around them. In order for me to do my job properly, in order for me to preach, I can't be around that before I go on and do my thing and lay it down. This guy's, that's not, no, man. He's creating something. He's creating a mindset justifying him being above everyone else, him being better than the rest of us, him being literally more divine than the rest of us. And that's, I don't believe that was Jesus's message. I really don't believe that. You know, the way that history teaches us of how Jesus actually was, it's not that. It's not that at all. Because I think most of us can agree that if Jesus came back to earth, he's not going to be in the form of one of these guys. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. You know, so
Jesus is a very real Lord. And I spent a lot of time on airlines. But the main thing that happened wasn't the main reason. The main reason was I could no longer do what I called to do and be on the airlines. Besides that, I need my clothes when I get there.
What's going on with this dude's eyes, dude? What is happening with this dude's eyes is what I want to know. And what's crazy to me is that he has makeup on right now. He's in transit and he has makeup on. What is happening with this dude? What's he like behind closed doors? I mean, I don't really want to know. I'm going to be honest with you. I really don't want to know. But when I think of this dude, with his wife, the way he pointed his finger at this woman, I don't see a nice guy. Like, I'm looking at this dude's eyes and I'm seeing a very, very nasty person. Hey, thanks, Booze Love. Appreciate that. I'm seeing a very, very nasty person. And I can't with this dude's face, bro. Look at yeah.
And you have some fancy clothes. I mean, for a pastor, you are living a life of luxury. You've got great homes, you've got great planes, you drive in limos, and you're a very wealthy man. And some people would say that is it appreciated?
May I add something to that? My wealth doesn't come from offerings alone.
Because you sell things, books and DVDs.
Yes. And I have a lot of natural gas on our property. Didn't know that, did you, babe?
And about offerings, she didn't say anything about people paying their tithes. So to me, that's something pretty wild, man. She didn't mention anything about that, but but that stands to reason that he hears it a lot on the street and go, "How dare you? How dare you take people's offerings that they're giving to God, and instead of doing what Jesus would do with that money and give it to a charity, and only use exactly what you need." Because I don't think there's anything wrong with this. Like, I think it's okay. I'm not judging the guy for living as a preacher. If somebody's a preacher and they're spreading the word of God and they depend on people who find guidance for that, and people want to donate for that, I think it's fair to live off of that. But modestly, I think it's insulting when you're doing it in the name of Jesus, the cornerstone, the Jesus is the figure that we, as the majority of a species, have chosen to be the symbol for charity and goodwill towards others, towards the less fortunate. So this guy's preaching the word of Jesus, and he's using the word of Jesus to capitalize. And like I said, I don't think that there's anything wrong with living off what you need. If people are willing to support you because you offer them some sort of solace and some sort of guidance to get through their lives, that's awesome. Cool. But to take money from people who are struggling, because the kind of people who donate to these churches, to these televangelists, they're rarely very rich people that are sitting around in a mansion and nothing better to do with their money. These are people who are struggling in their lives, and somebody like them gets on TV and tells them that if you send us this money, we're going to send you prayers, and God is going to make all of your problems disappear. God is going to help you get through your hard times. That's the pitch, right? God's going to help you get through these hard times that you're going through. So they literally target less fortunate people. That's fascinating to me. And so here you are, and you're pitching to the less fortunate because they're gullible, or because they're desperate, or because they're gullible because they're desperate. And here you are, they're taking money that they probably need to feed their children with, and then you're wearing a suit that they could only fantasize about ever being able to afford. They've got a husband that probably can't even afford a suit to go to a job interview. And here's this man riding around in limos, living like Ric Flair. Thanks, Norma Thomas. That's sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that. And here he is right now, just trying to justify it, and he feels justified in it. You can tell.
Now I do.
Yeah, you do. Isn't that wonderful?
Well, I guess. Wonderful for you.
Back when, and I might add another thing too. We invest from, let's see, I don't know the exact number on last year yet, but it will run something in the neighborhood of 20, 25 million in the pool. Can't do that and be broke.
So final question is, a lot of people maybe have a misunderstanding then about what you do in prosperity preaching. So the final question is this: to those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
Nice and
They're
simple.
wrong.
That's it?
That it's a misunderstanding of the Bible.
Here we go.
That if you go into the old covenant, do you think the Jewish people believe you should be broke?
Are you saying that
What?
Jewish people appreciate money more than...
No, they believe in wealth.
Some people would find that offensive.
Wait a minute now. I'm not talking about some people. I'm talking about the Bible. The blessing of Abraham. Abraham was extremely wealthy, and he had a covenant with God. It's not the Jewish blessing, it's the Abrahamic blessing. God, I get excited talking about it because I love it. And I started out.
The Abrahamic blessing. The fuck is this dude talking about?
Deep in debt with nothing, which is another story. But anyway.
So you say that it's biblical and that there's a foundation in the Bible for this.
Let me close it with this. I had to learn this, like I said, from the Bible and from my spiritual mentor, Oral Roberts. And I learned it from him, working with him, and then he was close friends until he died. And he took the same heat for believing God would prosper you that I've taken over the years. And Abraham was very, very wealthy man. Galatians chapter 3.
What?
If you belong to Christ, then are you Abraham's seed and heirs according to his promise. And his promise was great wealth.
The Bible also says that it's more difficult for a rich man to get into heaven than it is for a camel to get through the eye of a needle, correct?
Get him.
But he said, all things are possible with God. And
This dude is blowing my mind, bro. Because now am I being unfair? Am I being like, is my mind made up about this dude to where he's saying things and he's making sense and I'm just not listening to it? I'm just kind of la 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 la, you're an asshole, ha, right? Am I doing that right now? And I'm not asking you. I'm just thinking out loud because I wonder, I wonder if I'm judging this man unfairly, because I don't know what it's like to be a preacher. I don't know what it's like to throw out the word of God and make a living doing it. But I mean, the thing is he's justified. But I'm going to answer my own question. No, I don't think that I'm misjudging this man because, guys, we follow true crime. We look at behavior, we look at motive, right? You know what I'm saying? So if we're trying to decide if this dude it has made a case for himself here and has made any sense, no, he hasn't, because we're sitting here and we're trying to listen to this man make a case for himself. And what he's saying isn't making anything. He seems to be deflecting. He seems to be throwing out biblical quotes as a defense that don't add up. He's sitting here saying that God has blessed him with these riches. But no, this guy's like anybody else. This guy makes his money by following a particular process. And that process is going on TV and looking at a camera and going, if you give me money, your life will get better. And it's not God going, hey, you're spreading the good word, so go play the lottery and I'll make sure you win. That's not what's going on here. What's going on here is this guy is literally conning people out of money, and he does it for a living. He does it for a living because he's selling prayer. You don't sell prayer. That's crazy to me. I mean, if you're so, if you're preaching charity and goodwill, you're not going to sell fucking DVDs for, $100 a pop. Not only is he selling basically bullshit, but he's gouging the prices on them on top of it. And he's saying, he's pointing his finger at people saying, hey, if you want blessings, well, that's the price. God never said it was going to be easy. And so he's twisting, he's manipulating these ideas of taking the hard road so that he can take the easy road, making other people take the hard road so that he can have the easy road. And that's not a leader, man. That's not a leader. That's not how businesses run. That's not how armies are run. There's leadership and people follow example. But for some reason, when you use something that's technically really unknown, you use something like faith and take something as powerful as someone's blind faith in something that they don't really know exists. They believe it to exist, but they don't really know that it exists. And they take this blind faith. This person here takes this blind faith from someone and manipulates it to line his pockets, because he's coming off as the authority, as the messenger, the vessel from you to God.
And he said, if you study the Greek behind that, it's trusting in wealth. When he said that, his disciples said they were astonished out of measure because they were wealthy men. They were astonished out of measure, saying, how can anyone be saved? He said, all things are possible.
Both of my grandfathers were preachers. They were very poor. They lived simple, modest lives.
Get them.
They were extremely offended by men that made money like you do, preaching like you do.
See, this just took a hard left turn right here, because this is personal to this lady right here. This is personal. She's the one that's, and again, man, you guys, as you know, at this point, I'm the kind of guy that I like to imagine scenarios. And I imagine this woman at the Inside Edition building in the office going to her editor or whoever and saying, listen, man, I want to go after this. There's a story here. And people want to see it. Why isn't anybody putting this guy on the spot? and she's getting everything done so that she can get the okay to go after this guy and create this story. And what's funny is she's not doing anything unethical. She caught the guy off guard, and he willingly spoke to her. He didn't go, no, I'm not talking to no Inside Edition. He got on here and he was like, I love Inside Edition. You don't understand. My wife, she loves Inside Edition. And he's smiling, and then, you know, so it's not like she did anything underhanded or unethical. She did what she had to do to get the truth out of this guy. She's not going to give him a chance to prepare his answers. She wants the raw truth from this guy.
What would your response be to people that think that preachers shouldn't live this kind of a lifestyle? Folks like both my grandfathers.
And I understand that.
Like, she's basically like, so you're going to tell me to my face, I'm putting you in a position right now to where you're going to tell me to my face, someone who's both my grandfathers were poor preachers and despised men like you. So for the people who feel like it's wrong for a preacher to live a lavish lifestyle, what do you say to them? So I want you to tell me that to my face right now. And she's basically doing that in a very intimidating and a very professional manner. But she's doing it, and the only reason she's intimidating is because she's right to the point, and she's not giving him any room to be able to bullshit. He cannot bullshit his way out of this question without looking like he is bullshitting his way out of this question. Well done.
I love them with all my heart. It's your grandfathers.
Here we go.
That we're standing on their shoulders. They held up and they stood for it. Glory to God. But when you go back to the Bible,
I wonder if he knows that she's pissing him off, that he's pissing her off with those answers, that he's patronizing her. I wonder if he's consciously patronizing her, because that's exactly what he's doing. I don't know if he knows that he's doing it, but I wonder. That's what I'm thinking right now. I'm wondering if he knows how much he's patronizing her at the moment, because he's sitting there going, oh, men like your grandfather, glory to God. He's so passionate, and he's showing all this over amount of respect for her. And what he's doing is he's running his mouth, trying to think of the next thing that's going to come out of it. That's all he's doing. He's stalling until he comes up with a bullshit answer.
And it's full of miracles and signs and wonders. And it's full of goodness. And it's full of meanness. It's just full of hell on earth. Those are the demons, not the people. I love the people.
Again, getting back to
You still have an answer.
Thank you so much for your time
What's your
today. Lisa Guerrero.
Lisa, God bless. Father bless Lisa today. Thank you for her grandparents.
You know, I gotta listen.
Thank you for.
I gotta tell you guys, that's one of my biggest fucking pet peeves right there. I can't stand that shit. Not when people pray with me. That's fine. As a matter of fact, it's cool. And as a matter of fact, when people say, hey, is it okay if I pray with you? You know, do you mind if we pray for a minute? I'm cool with that, man. Like I'm as a matter of fact, I feel, I take it as a compliment, and I think it's a very kind gesture. And so not only do I go ahead and do it, but I do it enthusiastically because I respect what people believe in, even though it may not be my thing. It may not be my method. Like, I made bomb ass spaghetti tonight. Right. But every time, whatever it is that I eat, doesn't matter. Before I put it in my face, I take a moment and I show gratitude for it. I express gratitude. I'm alone. I'm by myself, but I acknowledge to myself that I feel gratitude for having this meal, which is very similar. It's the same thing as people saying grace before they eat. People say grace before they eat because they, you know, they feel God provided the meal, so they're showing God gratitude. They're acknowledging gratitude to God for providing them with something to eat. I always feel extremely fortunate. I always try not to forget how lucky I am to get to eat something. So when I sit down with a meal and I'm about to eat it, it doesn't matter what it is. I take a moment to acknowledge the gratitude that I feel for it being there and what it's providing me, that nourishment that it's providing me. And I love that, you know? So when somebody says to me, you know, hey, you care if we pray real quick? You know, I'm like, yeah, you know, that's great. Yeah, let's do that. You know, it's perfect. It's great. But what he did, this guy just slipped. What this guy just did was exactly what one of these shitty motherfuckers do. That it all that was to him was a power move. It was a power move. It was a way to make himself above her, to place himself in a position of authority over her, to gain some sort of leverage over the situation currently. That's all he's doing. So when the way that he tricked her, he said, hey, what's your name? What's your name? And he goes to shake her hand, and then he doesn't let go of her hand, and he sits there and he starts praying and puts her in a position that she pulls away and she says, hey, you know, then she's going to look bad. People are going to go, what's her problem? He's just trying to pray with her, you know? But you can imagine the disgust she feels by that. Because I would feel disgusted by that. That's not coming from a good place. That's not coming from a place where someone just is trying to empathize with me and believes that God can help me. You know, that's coming from a place of I'm the authority and the vessel to God. And so I'm doing you a favor by praying with you and holding your hand.
Sir, thank you so much for your time today. Lisa Guerrero.
Lisa, God bless. Father bless Lisa.
Look at that shit.
Thank you for her grandparents. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to know her and to her team. And I pray and I believe her piece will be successful. I love Inside Edition. I love the people on it. And it thrills me to get a chance to have my face on Inside Edition.
Thank you very much, Reverend.
Girl.
You have a nice day.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much for your patience.
Yeah, so that dude's a shitbag. Yeah, so we're gonna explore this stuff a little bit more too. I'm you know, especially in times like these right now, guys. I think it's really, really important that we do have a certain level of faith, in whatever it is that you choose to have faith in. I choose to have faith in myself and in my neighbors, because I'm seeing it's funny. We're going through a really, really hard time, guys. This is a really, really weird thing that's going on right now because we've never had to deal with it in our lifetime. You know, this pandemic, and there's a lot of split opinions going on about it. And I'm leaning towards one side on it right now. But one thing that can't be denied is the majority of people, no matter what their opinions are on these quarantines, those opinions are coming from a good place. So they're coming from a place of wanting to do the best that they can for the people near them and the people around them. And I do believe this. And it's funny because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which side you're on. It doesn't matter if you're for quarantines or if you think that it's bullshit and there's not even anything out there that's a threat. It doesn't matter what side you're on, because one thing you've got to keep in mind, no matter all the social media, the back and forths on the social media, people are making this thing into a political thing, and it's not political. It's not. It just so happens that it's taking place. It's becoming political, but it's taking place just before an election, and just before an election that will determine whether or not easily the most controversial president that this country has ever had will get a second term. So it's a really crazy, scary time. It's very, very, very strange. But I want to be completely and totally transparent and candid here when I say that it doesn't matter which side you're on. I see what it is, and everybody, the basis of the majority of people, no matter which side they're taking, they believe and they want what's best for themselves and their neighbors. So everybody's heart is in the right place. There's no bad people over here and no bad. I mean, there are. Sure. What I'm saying is, it's not that this side is bad and this side is good. It's not like that. It's not like that. And it's really, really important that we keep that fact in mind, guys, moving forward. How we conduct ourselves in a situation like this, how we handle arguing our points, how we handle making changes in our system, how we handle these things matter. How we treat each other in the process matters extremely. And me personally, I'm simply going to do my very best to try to keep in mind that if someone disagrees with me, they're doing it and it's coming from a place of wanting the best thing for me. They believe that with their heart. So the next time you're on Facebook and you're arguing with somebody in a comment thread, and it's political, try to understand and keep in mind that person that you're arguing with, there's a really good chance that their heart is in the same place that yours is. You want what's best for them, and they want what's best for you, and they feel passionate about it. They feel absolutely passionate about it. And it's really, really, really important that we keep that in mind, because we get frustrated and we fight with people, and then it comes to religion and things like that, religion, politics, we get so passionate about our beliefs that we start to get frustrated with the other person. And then somebody will say something that's insulting or condescending, and then the other person's ego will click and kick in, and then they'll go for big air, and then then you got yourself a fight, and it's no longer about the thing that you were arguing about in the first place. It becomes an insulting match between two people, or 3 or 4 people, depending. So this is really, really important, guys. It's really, really important how things happen. Here's the thing is, I truly believe this, guys. I truly believe that it doesn't matter which direction it goes. right? If this side wants their way and they get it, as a species, we're going to figure it out. As a country, we're going to figure it out. We're going to get through it. We're going to adjust. We're going to be okay, right? The same thing with if the other side gets it and gets what they want. We're going to figure it out. But the only way we're going to do that is if we understand that we all just want the same things, and that's for the rest of us to be okay. One side may have it their way. The other side may have it their way. But if you don't get your way, how are you going to handle it? That's the way to handle it, in my opinion. In my personal opinion, how am I going to conduct myself if things don't go the way that I think they should? That's what really matters. Not whether or not they go my way or not. How am I going to conduct myself? How am I going to conduct myself if I do get my way? So I think that's all that really matters. And the best way to move forward and make decisions, sound decisions on how I'm going to conduct myself, is how much I understand the other side and how they think and what they believe. Whether I agree with it or not, do I understand where they're coming from? Am I making an effort to understand where they're coming from? Am I trying to walk a mile in their shoes? Right? So that's all I'm going to try to do. I mean, that's all I can do, right? It's all any of us can do. So we start trying to control things, man. We start trying to control. And there's certain things that we can control, and there's other things that we can't. We have to accept those things that we can't control. It's got to be. It's just the way it's got to be done. There's no other sound way to do it. You know. Again, guys, you've heard me say it before. You'll hear me say it again. You can either try to push the rain back up into the sky, or you could just get an umbrella. So anyways, guys, I love you guys very, very much. I had a great time with you guys tonight. Thanks for showing up, especially so late, man. I had a lot of people in here for a late night, man. I really appreciate everybody coming out and hanging out. I missed you guys. And we're going to, we're, you know, I don't know how often I'm going to keep coming on, and, you know, hopefully there's going to be some stuff going on, some collaborations with other creators coming up soon. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, either way, we'll figure something out, guys, and I'll be up here soon. I can't promise you exactly when. Could be tomorrow, could be a week, could be a month, who knows. But I had a really good time with you guys tonight, and I really appreciate you guys dropping in. And we will do this again very, very soon, my friends. Stay safe.